What's good with it? What's good with it? Show me MACK. Music, art, culture, knowledge. Reporting live from the Dogon. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. Follow the movement on Instagram, MackTV_82. Get at your boy. Email, get at MackTVPodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, live from the Dogon. Real quick, I want to talk about this concept. Well, not really. I won't go as far to say concept. I guess an argument, a debate that is ever present in hip hop. I was at the barbershop and some guys were talking about it. Essentially, a guy was making the argument that words don't matter anymore in hip hop. Like, everything is strictly melody. Everything is strictly just how your vocal pitch and how you sound sonically. The actual, in your flow. But like the actual content of your words, like that's neither here nor there. It's really of no consequence. And this guy, he had to have been probably in his late 20s. So my thing is he pretty much saw how the phases that hip hop, he's old enough to have seen the phases that hip hop has gone through. I want to say the phase being more so lyrical content, creativity, being more of a demand. Whereas now I think things have kind of shifted more towards there's one formula that works, and every label, every artist, I would say more so the label, they put pressure on artists to mimic that sound that is hot. And the thing that sucks about that is the creativity is starved. The art is starved. The art is compromised. And I understand, well, Maurice, Mac, this is a business. I get that it's a business, but my thing is, when the soul of hip hop is compromised, like, what are we really standing on? Like, what is the premise? We know that Sedgwick and Cedar in the Bronx is where the art form started, and we know that there was an underlying social justice theme with hip hop. Now, I'm not saying like everything with hip hop was deep and substantive. No, like you had but you had the Kid and Plays. You had the Roxanne. Well, no, Roxanne Shante was more. She was lyrical. I don't think it was more dance with her. It wasn't really just dance with her. But the Kid and Plays. You had the Kwame's. Just the fun hip hop. And I think what people tend to forget is that hip hop wasn't always focused on lyrics even back then. But it was understood that you need to have, if you were considered an elite MC, you had to have bars. And I think Drake had said something to the effect that, the old way of rapping, which is, I guess, I want to say by that assertion, he was saying non-melodic, just straight bars and flow. That essentially is becoming antiquated. And my thing is, I understand that art evolves and it shifts and it goes through different phases, but what scares me is the idea that words don't matter. Like, lyrical content doesn't matter. And my thing is, again, if hip hop gets to that point, what use is the art? If this thing is going to be strictly corporate controlled and everybody's going to play follow the leader with whoever has the aesthetic or the sound that's hot at the moment, and there's no teaching, there's no social commentary, there's nothing that makes you think, then the craft is dead, in my opinion. The craft has become mindless and it's obsolete. I get it. People that know me, they know, well, Mac, you like the super lyrical people. It's like, no, I like hip hop that has substance, that has depth to it. But at the same time, I understand that, everything doesn't need to be fight the power. Shout out to Public Enemy. But yeah, everything doesn't need to be fight the power. We can have fun. But my issue with the game has been there's no equilibrium. It's like you literally can listen to the radio and everything sounds like one long sequence, one long song. There's not a whole lot of delineation or distinction between one artist and another. You know, there's so many. Atlanta, as we know it, is essentially holds the throne of hip hop. And you have people who live in Compton, people who live in New York. This is what blows my mind. Live in New York, they want to mimic that Atlanta aesthetic. And I understand, you know, they may have grown up on that. They grew up on Future. They grew up on Young Thug. They grew up on trap, and that's cool. But I think what was dope about hip hop, especially in the '90s and early 2000s, was the spectrum was vast. You had Tupac, then you had the Fugees, then you had Wu-Tang, then you had Dr. Dre. You know, like there was just more. Again, the spectrum was more vast, and you weren't pigeonholed into one sound. And now I kind of feel like everybody's pigeonholed into one sound. But yeah, this is the episode of MACK Minutes. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this episode of MACK Minutes. Just let me know what's good with it. Let me know, you know, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like bars are obsolete? That they don't matter anymore? Or everything is just strictly flow? Are we relegated to that? Everything's about flow, content, bars is a dead concept. Let me know. It's your homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge. Hit that like button. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe. The goal is 1K or better in 2020. That's the goal. We need 1,000 subscribers. We're sitting at 400 plus right now, but the goal is to get 1,000 or better. 1K or better in 2020. Follow the Instagram, MacTV_82. Follow the movement on Facebook, MacTV. Peace and love.